The real reason The Rock's DC career collapsed is a secret Hollywood is still trying to hide. I uncovered the one clause in his contract that guaranteed his failure. What John Cena did differently will change how you see both stars forever. You must watch until the end to understand the shocking truth behind their career paths. The difference comes down to a mix of humility, performance, and expectation, three traits that shape not just their characters, but their entire careers. When you look at Dwayne Johnson's Hollywood journey, one thing becomes clear. The man's brand is built on dominance. He's the guy who never loses, never breaks, and never doubts himself. That's part of what made him an icon in wrestling, but in film, it's a double-edged sword. Reports from Fast and Furious production revealed that The Rock actually had a clause in his contract stating he couldn't lose a fight on screen, not even once. Every battle had to end in a draw. It's the kind of detail that makes sense for an action star's ego, but in storytelling, it's poison. Because stories thrive on vulnerability, not invincibility. That obsession with power followed him into Black Adam. The film introduced him as an unstoppable force, someone who could vaporize enemies, crush entire superhero teams, and still emerge spotless. But that's the problem. He was too unstoppable. There was never a moment where the audience felt like he might actually fail, or even doubt himself. He wasn't a conflicted anti-hero, he was a stone-faced demigod. The irony is that DC's best characters from Batman to Superman work precisely because of their flaws. Superman's humanity is what makes him beloved. Batman's trauma is what makes him relatable. The Rock's Black Adam, on the other hand, was pure power with no personality. And this wasn't just about performance, it was about control. Behind the scenes, The Rock reportedly pushed to separate Black Adam from Shazam, even though in the comics, they're direct rivals. Instead of letting his character debut naturally in a connected story, he wanted his own solo spotlight. It's like insisting on being the lead singer when you were meant to be the guitarist. The end result? A disconnected film that lacked chemistry and purpose. Things got even stranger when reports surfaced that The Rock tried to position himself as the new face of the DC universe, pitching Black Adam vs. Superman as the franchise's future and using Henry Cavill's cameo to build hype. When leadership at Warner Brothers shifted and James G. took control, that plan was immediately scrapped. The Rock's empire crumbled overnight, and Cavill's Superman comeback went down with it. While The Rock was busy trying to control the narrative, John Cena took a completely different route. He entered the self-unalive squad with no illusions about being the star. He wasn't fighting for dominance, he was fighting for respect. Cena understood that audiences didn't yet see him as a real actor. And instead of trying to brute force credibility, he earned it the old-fashioned way, by trusting his director and fully committing to his role. James G. saw something special in him. Cena's Peacemaker wasn't cool, suave, or heroic. He was pathetic, overconfident, and deeply flawed. He believed in peace so blindly that he'd unalive for it, which made him both hilarious and tragic. Cena didn't resist that image, he embraced it. He let himself look stupid, weak, and broken, and that vulnerability made his performance human. Originally, Peacemaker was supposed to die at the end of the self-unalive squad. Cena didn't fight the decision. He was ready to show up, give his all, and bow out if that's what the story needed. But James G. was so impressed with his work that he rewrote the ending, keeping Peacemaker alive for a spin-off show. That's not luck, that's trust earned through humility. And that brings us to the second big difference, performance. The Rock has charisma, no one can deny that. But charisma isn't the same as range. He's magnetic in action roles and funny in family comedies. But his acting toolkit is limited. In Black Adam, his stoic expression barely changes whether he's mourning his son, destroying armies, or delivering monologues. The emotional beats that should have grounded the story fall completely flat because he never lets the audience feel his pain. John Cena, on the other hand, evolved. In the self-unalive squad, he proved he could balance humor and menace, but it was in Peacemaker that he broke through as a real actor. He wasn't just playing a loud, muscle-bound soldier, he was playing a man drowning in guilt, childhood trauma, and self-loathing. Throughout the series, you can see layers of emotion that no one expected from him. His comedic timing is razor-sharp, but what really stands out is how he handles silence the moments when Peacemaker lets his facade crack. One of the most powerful scenes shows him alone, playing piano, his massive frame hunched over delicate keys. There are no words, no quips, just raw emotion. It's a quiet, haunting moment that proves Cena isn't just a movie star, he's an actor. That's why audiences connected with him. He wasn't trying to impress, he was trying to express. And that honesty made Peacemaker one of the most talked about DC characters in years. The third and final reason Cena's story worked while The Rock's fell flat comes down to expectations. The Rock spent years hyping Black Adam as a game changer. He said it would redefine the DC universe. The marketing machine pushed that line over and over. The hierarchy of power is about to change. But when the movie finally dropped, it didn't deliver anything revolutionary. The action was fun, the visuals solid, and Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate stole every scene, but the story? Paper thin. The villain forgettable, the emotion non-existent. Audiences didn't hate Black Adam, they just didn't care. And that's worse. Meanwhile, Peacemaker arrived quietly. There was no massive PR campaign, no promises of rewriting superhero cinema. It just dropped on HBO Max, and then word of mouth exploded. People tuned in expecting another edgy superhero show, and instead, they found something heartfelt, ridiculous, and strangely moving. The humor hit and the emotional depth was shockingly real. Cena didn't need to declare himself the future of DC, he just became part of it. His success felt organic. Fans wanted more, not because he told them to, but because he earned it. And maybe that's the biggest difference between the two. The Rock tried to force greatness. Cena grew into it. The Rock approached DC like a corporation, aiming to control the brand, shape the hierarchy, and make himself the cornerstone of a new empire. Cena approached it like an artist, open, collaborative, and grateful for the chance to prove himself. That's why today, Peacemaker lives on, his story continuing into future projects under James G's leadership. The character has popped up across media in games, cameos, and endless memes because people genuinely love him. Meanwhile, Black Adam sits in limbo, gathering dust in the archives of what could have been. When you step back, the lesson is simple. Power doesn't make you memorable, vulnerability does. The Rock built his career on being indestructible. Cena rebuilt his on being real. One man tried to control his image, the other let his image evolve. In the end, John Cena succeeded in DC because he understood something. The Rock didn't. The strongest heroes aren't the ones who can't be beaten. They're the ones who can be broken and still stand back up. Because in the world of DC, and honestly, in real life, the greatest power isn't invincibility. It's humanity. And that's why, for once, Cena really did see The Rock and kept walking past him. So now you know the real story behind their DC destinies. Tell me which performance you believe truly redefined a wrestler turned actor. Let me know if you think The Rock's approach could ever work in today's cinema. Share your own take on what makes a superhero relatable in the comments below. Follow for more breakdowns that reveal the hidden battles behind the biggest film roles.